Hey everybody, Adam Plisick over here at Skilly again. Some really fun and exciting announcement this week, but we're gonna go a little bit off book today and talk a little less about literal product features, and again, a preview about some of the infrastructure that runs behind this incredible opportunity we have to launch consumer profiles next week. So consumer profiles, as a quick reminder, is really just about giving your audience a way to identify themselves in a thoughtful opt-in mentality as opposed to opt-out mentality. And if you're hearing this and you're wondering exactly what I mean, go check out the privacy article called The Privacy Pyramid I put together. This explains very deeply how Skilly thinks about privacy as infrastructure and as the right thing to do. But let's go ahead and break it down in just a couple of minutes so you know the types of permissions and controls that your audience, your hopeful visitors, customers, volunteers, donors, or whatever the case might be, will experience. Okay, I'm gonna break it down by the pyramid now. So first off, at the most basic level, it's worth knowing that Skilly really does not identify people just because they came to the site. That's really critical because there's a lot of kind of sneaky tricks in terms of, kind of where your device sleeps at night or kind of what browser you use. And just like fingerprints, sometimes browser signatures mixed with other kind of nerdy stuff can actually identify the person even if they didn't volunteer to be identified. In the US, that can be really tricky because if some sites do identify you and others don't, but there's a relationship that can be formed between the two, oftentimes you're getting identified basically by a website that you didn't fully expect to kind of cross over to other experiences. So at the basic level, I want to remind everybody here at layer 1 that we do not identify anyone by default. We do drop a small little cookie that lets you persist your session for up to 60 days just for continuity of conversation. But as many unfortunately have realized, we really mean what we say and we have no way to dig into that person's identity. Now, layer 2 is a pretty exciting moment for us. This is our preview around consumer profiles. And for the first time, we're gonna allow simple registrations via Microsoft or Google to actually bring your profile, your name, and your email address by default into the mix. Why this is so critical is not only is an average user getting a consolidated inbox for all the Skilly conversations they've been having, with the ability to go back or cross over, but they're also now getting the opportunity to get their hands on levers and controls so that even if they have created their profile, they can immediately come in and adjust what their default settings are. This is critical because it allows context to form and trusted relationships, but it doesn't necessarily create a one-way style of communication that oftentimes we've all been frustrated and trapped within, receiving spam left over right. Okay, level 3 is all really around conversational visibility. So even if you've registered as a user, you also have the ability to drop into incognito mode versus traditional viewable mode. Now, some of us are gonna be familiar with incognito, but if not, it de-identifies you in the moment from the browser, or in this case, from the organization. Now, it's important to recognize that you can have a combination of chats that are both identified and de-identified, meaning you can turn your incognito moment on and become an anonymous de-identified user, or you can keep it off, and that way the brand can actually start to build a continuous relationship with you and understand where your conversations are going. I call this out in the article, but there are very interesting reasons why people will choose to go incognito, maybe around sensitive finance questions or rights to work or a variety of other interesting factors. There's plenty of reasons why you do want to be identified in case you want that organization to follow up with you or, of course, develop a relationship. So level 1 brings us from anonymous to registered. Registered in level 2 allows us to access early controls and build context as well as present ourselves in the way we want to a brand. Level 3 is all about that toggle on, toggle off visibility that someone has about who you are, knowing that you can turn it on and off as you see fit. When we get to level 4, this is where some of our more permanent controls come into place. So first and foremost, it allows you to turn off your relationship and the visibility of your name, your profile pic, and your email to any organization, or frankly, all organizations with simple clicks. This is not hidden, it's right in your consumer profile, but allows you to say, hey, I'd like to be messaged outside of this channel, or I wouldn't. Now, by default, that's email, and some of our folks are actually on an SMS plan, but it's critical to realize that we'll also set or unset a CRM syncing flag. For those that don't know CRM, it's customer relationship management. This allows us to log when you say it's okay and when you say it's not okay for a brand to bring you into kind of a broader multi-channel strategy. So you might chat with the Skilly guide, but then they might want to have you follow up and invite you to a webinar via email. This is your primary control to turn that off if you no longer want a relationship. Even if you do turn it off though, there's still a way to keep that two-way communication open, because starting soon will give organizations the ability to send you a message, even if they can't identify you, even if they can't reach out with you on email or SMS. Now, what that allows them to do is actually read the context and in full transparency disclose that while they can't identify you, they just wanted to know what other resources they could provide. Now, of course, some organizations are going to be a little bit more ambitious with this and sort of lean in with specific calls to action. Others are just going to make themselves available. And that gets us all the way up through level 4 of organizational settings that are very specific to the team that they were chatting with. Level 5 is complete de-identification, and this is critical because over a window of time, you might decide, either with an individual team or organization or with the entirety of the system, that you would no longer like your chats to be identified or associated with your profile. This sounds simple, but it gives very granular controls to make sure that past conversations no longer influence future ones. A simple example of this might be while you're applying to a university, you might have had certain types of questions, then you want to remove that association and then ultimately readdress as maybe an alumni or a current student. That context will allow a clean break between you and the organization and puts 100% of that control in your hands. Okay, well, that was the early privacy pyramid. We're always looking for feedback and, of course, get all your questions to us. Thanks so much. We're really excited about consumer profiles. If you'd like to kind of get one-on-one time, feel free to reach out via email. Of course, any of the scheduling links in this newsletter. Okay, take care. Thank you.